welcome to the Propel Pod, where we cultivate purpose, empower action, and propel forward in every aspect of our lives. I am your host, DaeBreana, motivational speaker, communication specialist, and your personal guide to help you live the life that you deserve to live. Here at the Propel Pod, we keep it real, we keep it relatable, very transparent, and we're not going to take up any more time. We're going to go ahead and dive into the first episode. So the first episode is, what does it mean to live the Propel life? Now, I will say, for those of you that know me, again, I am DaeBreana, and I have been doing motivational speaking since the age of 13. I was speaking at many different conferences, many different churches, many different schools, graduations. I was pretty much doing it all. And over the past 3 to 4 years, I have been hearing these questions. What are you doing? Are you still singing? Are you still speaking? And honestly, I am here to answer all of those questions today. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent. I might shed a few tears because this is my first time being honest and transparent and letting people know exactly what's been going on in my life. So I'm letting y'all into my safe space, and you should expect that throughout the next few seasons of the Propel Pod. So without further ado, I started speaking when I was 13 again. And I would say I was pretty much going, traveling all around and doing my thing. And it wasn't until I got to college where I kind of slowed down. I would say for me, when I got to college, because I was going and speaking and doing everything, I kind of wanted to take a step back because I had experienced ministry burnout. And also at the same time, if you know that you are called, we kind of deal with something that is called spiritual warfare. And just being honest, every time I was getting booked to speak or sing, for some odd reason, it's like the devil was playing with me and I was getting sick each and every single time. And it got to a point where I would get so sick, I was like telling my mom, hey, I can't do it. I don't even have a voice. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if I'm going to get up there and crack. And thank God for having the mom that I have. But she would always push me and she would always let me know that that was just a tactic from the enemy to try to steer me to the left and step away from my calling. But when I got to college, it was just a new season of my life. And I felt like I was trying to find me. All I knew within those years since the age of 13 was ministry. That's all I knew. That's all I was doing. And so when I got to college, I felt like I was trying to find myself. And so I kind of took a break. I didn't really accept many bookings as much. And then, of course, as we know, the pandemic hit. And I would say for my last official speaking engagement, it was at a church in Columbus, Georgia. And that was like a virtual youth day. And I spoke there. And after that, just went through a season where that was it. And so I just was pretty much enjoying the college life. I felt like I was trying to find me without ministry. I was trying to not answer and not tell God yes when I probably should have. But I will say with that break, it was very much needed. And so as I was enjoying my college experience, it came time for me to graduate. And I would say I was enjoying my college experience a little bit too much that when it came time to graduation day, I was miserable. What should have been one of the best days of my life turned out to be something that was literally terrible. I suffered from post-grad depression tremendously, and I would say that it was not a good feeling. And if you ever dealt with post-grad depression, you understand and know that it could hit you at any given moment. You feel like you don't know what's next with your life. It's kind of like when you graduate from pre-K, you know you're going to kindergarten. When you graduate from 5th grade, you know you're going to the 6th grade. When you graduate from 8th grade, you know you're going to the 9th. And then, of course, from 12th to college. But it's like once you graduate from college, Whatever happens is on you. You decide your career field. You decide where you want to live. It's just all of those things hit me. And so I felt like where I was going through those seasons where I knew what was next, I didn't know what was next and I didn't know how to handle it. I knew for a fact I didn't want to go back to Albany. Not saying that it is anything wrong with Albany, by no means. But I just knew that that's not where I wanted to be. Truthfully, I didn't know what I wanted to do career-wise. I knew I graduated with my Bachelor of Arts in Communications, primarily radio and television and public relations, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I came home, just being honest and transparent, I was very snappy. I was very mean. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I locked myself up in my room and I just felt like I didn't know what was happening. I was so depressed. I was just eating my life away. You can see me now. I probably look a little small, but back then I probably went from like 175 to 225, and it was just a lot mentally. But even in the midst of me going through post-grad depression, I would find myself in my room on my iPad, just looking up places to stay. Of course, jobs, because I knew I needed the job in order to have somewhere to stay. I was always staying on the salary calculator trying to figure out how much money I was going to make and how much money I would have left. And truthfully, what I've come to realize is I was getting in the way of God when I should have been letting God do exactly what he's going to do, because at the end of the day, God knows everything that's going to happen within my life. And I was too busy trying to figure it all out, map out the perfect life. And what I realized is I might have been looking in Atlanta at that time, but God wasn't ready to send me here just yet. And so it wasn't until my mom called me and I got my first career job at Turner Job Corps Center. Shout out to them. I was the business and community liaison. And truth of the matter is, even as I accepted that position, I was still miserable. I truly enjoyed walking in the different rooms that I was walking into. I was in rooms with CEOs. I was in rooms with presidents of the universities. I was in the room with the CEO of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce. And truth of the matter is, every room that I was walking into, I was the youngest. I was the youngest at Turner Job Corps Center. I pretty much was probably the third in charge. I was managing 2 people up under me. Imagine them being 50, 60 years old, and I'm just a 22-year-old girl fresh out of college. Again, imposter syndrome. No matter what I did in college, I mean, I had the credentials on paper, but it's like the enemy was telling me, you're not qualified for it. You're not enough in this room. Whatever you say, they're not going to believe you because you're the youngest. And it was many days that I was dreading going to work because I felt like my voice didn't matter. Again, I wasn't speaking. So it's like I've kind of stepped away from God, from doing what I know that God has called me to do. I wasn't in my word as I should have been. I wasn't fasting as I should have been. I wasn't doing anything that I should have been doing. And so I would go to work every day and I was just not having it. But it wasn't until I went to an Albany Area Chamber of Commerce. They have this breakfast meeting in the morning where they call in different businesses. And I was, for some odd reason, God was on me that day. I was working that room and my boss was watching me. And he came up to me and said, "How in the world do you know all these people?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" I grew up with them. I was on the Flint Community Bank Junior Board of Directors. I sung the national anthem at the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, big meeting that they have every year. Literally, that was probably when I was, about 12 years old. And after that, they had me traveling across Albany, literally singing the national anthem. But even though I knew God was on me, it's like the devil was still like, girl, that's not enough. Girl, your presence don't matter in that room. And it's literally like my boss was saying, you literally walked in this room and you owned it, but it's like deep in my heart, I still didn't believe that I owned it. It was like, I'm like, hey, it is what it is. Nothing is really, I'm not really feeling it. And so, went through Turner, and it got to a point, God knows I love Turner, but I knew that I would go home and I would cry my eyes out. I would stay up to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, still trying to figure out Atlanta, moving to Atlanta and everything. And it wasn't until like maybe November where I got a call from a job in Atlanta and they wanted to interview me. I'm like, God, this my time. And I ended up doing the interview. And I didn't hear back until probably around January. They wanted to do another interview, but with the group. And I had to prepare a presentation. And I stayed up all night. I ran that presentation through so many different people because I was like, look, I got to get to Atlanta. I just feel like I would just be happy again. I would be just fine. And so I ended up doing it. It was amazing. And they ended up calling me back in February and they wanted me to come in person. And as I was driving down I-75, this is no lie, this is February 2023. I was almost to Atlanta and it's like the enemy was playing with me. And all I heard was steer to the right and just run yourself over in the ditch. You don't even have a reason to live anymore. I don't know why in the world. And it's like, I'm like, what? Who? Like, I'm like, who's talking? And it's literally like I was having a mental battle in my mind, trying to talk to God, like, God, what is happening? What is this voice? And it's literally like I heard it again, just steer to the right. It's the ditch over there. You don't have to live anymore. You've been going through a lot anyways. You're not going to get this job. You sitting up here wasting your gas. And I will say that it wasn't until I got a phone call from a friend, and I thank God for that phone call because I was about to give in and about to drive myself in that ditch. And after I told that friend literally prayed me through. And that's something that I appreciate because in that moment I realized that that's why it's very important to have like-minded people to be in your life, because had I not gotten that phone call, I would not be here today. But I tell God thank you. But long story short, I ended up getting that job and I moved to Atlanta. And I started working for the company. Life was going great. I still wasn't doing ministry. I just was like, hey, I'm having the best time of my life. But it wasn't until April 1st. My first day at the job was February 27th. It wasn't until April 1st. I got on the call and they was like, we lost the contract, so we're going to be without jobs. And I'm like, in this type of economy, I just moved to Atlanta. Rent is sky high. What do you mean I'm about to be without a job? For the next 3 months, I suffered in silence. I did not tell anyone what was happening. And it was driving me crazy. I was so embarrassed because I'm like, everybody knows I moved to Atlanta. I don't want to tell my parents. I definitely don't want to tell my mom. And it's like, what am I going to tell people? I'm going to need help financially. I'm going to have to move back to Albany. And I suffered in silence. I locked myself up in my room and I just shut myself off from the world. And it wasn't until I ended up telling my brother, who was also my boy best friend, Takevius, and he was like, listen, you can't bottle how you're feeling on the inside, because if you continue to keep that in, you're going to explode, and you don't want to. You want to be able to vent, you want to be able to release, and you want to be able to communicate with someone so we can get you the help that you need. We can also look for something for you, and then also we're going to pray you through this season. This is only just temporarily. God has not taken his hand off of you, and to continue trusting him. And so I ended up telling my mom, and the realest thing she told me was that you never have to go through a season by yourself. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. We're here to empower you. We're here for you to lean on our shoulders. We're here to wipe your tears away. And I appreciated that. But that ended up happening. I ended up getting a new job, praise God. And so I would say for the past few seasons, I have been trying to get back in ministry, and I'm going to be honest, I know some of the people that might have booked me, y'all probably reached out and said, hey, can you sing at this program, or can you come up and speak? I would always say no. I just was not ready to go back into ministry. I felt like I had to be perfect. That's something that I'm realizing. I've been going to therapy for it, but I felt like I've always had things together. So when things would kind of go crazy and out of the norm, I didn't know how to handle it. And it's just like, for me, I always felt like I don't want to stand up in front of God's people and minister and I'm not made whole. I'm broken. I'm not complete. I don't even know what to tell myself. How in the world can I get up and preach to someone to have faith when I don't have faith? How can I sing, enlarge my territory, and I don't even believe that mine is being enlarged? It's like it was so many different emotions and things happening that I didn't know how to handle it. Battling depression, battling going through post-grad depression, battling suicidal thoughts, battling imposter syndrome, battling perfectionism. Everything was just happening. And so I would say for about the past month, I have been working on this project, working on this podcast, the Propel Pod. And y'all will see on the next episode how the Propel Pod really was birthed. But I want to say that all throughout everything that I was going through and I was dealing with, I realized that God never took his hand off of me. He never left my side. You will experience some turbulence in your life. You will experience some trials and tribulations, and you won't have it all together. And that's something that I have been talking to my therapist about, because anytime I didn't have it together, I didn't know. I was always that girl that has had everything together. I always knew what I wanted. I would literally dot every I and cross every T. And then when things would go left, I didn't know how to handle it. And so for the past 2 months, I would say that I have been slowly getting back into doing what I know for a fact that God has called me to do. And I'm just trusting God along this journey. As I was experiencing those things in my life, there was this one song that constantly stayed in my spirit, and it was by Richard Smallwood. So I'm just going to sing just a little bit. I will be with you. I will be with you. I will be with you if you will only trust me. trust me. I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you if you will only trust me. Trust me. Trust me. And what I had to realize is that you do not have to be perfect, but you just have to be willing. And as long as you continue to keep God first, God has already ordered our steps. So no matter what the enemy tries to throw along this journey, no matter what type of feeling he tries to cause us to feel, no matter what corner he tries to push us into, we have to know and understand that God already holds the future. He holds our future. He has everything when it comes to us in the palm of his hand, and all we have to do is trust him. So no matter how hard the journey might get, no matter how tough it is, just trust God and keep him first. The last thing that I learned throughout this entire journey is that no matter how many times I tried to run from my calling, no matter how many times you try to hide, your calling will always find you. So even in the midst of me trying to go left or trying to walk away, it's literally like God was saying, I don't care where you go, I'm waiting on you, and you still have kingdom business to handle. So if you are dealing with what I have dealt with, I encourage you to just trust the process and know that no matter what's happening, when there's a calling that's upon your life, you got to walk forward. And I want you to know that you will experience spiritual warfare. You will experience all types of things, but that's why you have to stay prayed up. And that's why you have to make sure that you stay in your word, and you got to fast and pray. Amen. I want to let y'all know the Propel Pod is definitely going to be something great. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it relatable. We're going to keep it very transparent. And I will have people on every episode to come, and we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. But for those that want to know, are you still speaking? Yes. For those that want to know, am I still singing? I am. But we gonna press on with the speaking, praise God. But anyways, I want to let y'all know that I'm back. As I pray for y'all, y'all pray for me. And I created this Propel Pod because I don't want people to go through what I dealt with. If I can help you and be real and be transparent and be relatable, then that's what I'm going to do to push you towards your next season of your life, because I know how it feels to go through the valley. I know how it feels to be in that valley and feel like you don't see the sun shining. I know how it feels to be in the most lowest place and you feel like you can't hear God. I felt like I didn't hear God for the past 2 years, if we being honest. But I'm here to let y'all know that I am back. For those of you that do not know me, I am the DaeBreana Easley, and I'm super excited for the Propel Pod. Y'all stay tuned because there is so much more in store.